Please welcome the great Delbert McClinton. Delbert, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank you for appearing here on my radio program. It's a true honor to have you here.
Well, thank you for asking me. I think it's great.
Well, thank you. Well, I guess we might as well get started up. You were born in Lubbock, Texas, right? And grew up in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And so I guess, what kind of music did you listen to as a kid or as a teenager?
Well, I was born in 1940, so I heard a lot of the music of the late 30s and 40s. A lot of Nat King Cole, Hank Williams, and Lefty Frizzell, and Charles Brown, and Sarah Vaughan, and on and on.
Probably a little Bob Wills, too.
And a lot of Bob Wills.
San Antonio Rose.
Oh, yeah.
And, but from when you were a child, you pretty much knew you had a calling to music. I mean, you started very young performing and playing the harmonica and singing.
Well, I did. I kind of had to do it rather than chose to do it. You know,
A calling.
It was just something that was there, and it had to come out.
Sure. And well, as a teenager, you found plenty of work on the local club scene in Fort Worth, and where musicians commonly play different styles of music on different nights of the week.
Right.
And so, is that probably a huge influence on how you combine country and blues and rock into the Delbert McClinton sound?
I think so. Back in that time, if you wanted to be in a band that had a job, you had to play a lot of different kind of music.
Sure. And
so, you know, you just kind of mix it all up together and make a hybrid out of it after a while.
And then you started one of your earliest bands, the Straight Jackets,
right,
around that time, and you got to back up many of your heroes.
I did. I got to work with Sonny Boy Williamson and Jimmy Reed and Buster Brown and Lightning Hopkins and just a whole bunch of guys that were my heroes. Sonny Boy Williamson.
You have said that was probably one of the greatest educations you could have possibly ever had. What was it like to back up those icons?
Well, it was kind of on-the-job training for me. I learned to play harmonica from Jimmy Reed and from Buster Brown and Sonny Boy. And every chance I got, I was asking questions.
Just learning right there, right in the moment. And
oh, yeah, on-the-job training.
Probably the best way.
Well, it's not a bad way. It's a fortunate way, I think, that I feel really fortunate that I got to know some of those guys and got tips from them. I got to work with them. I got to see how they did what they did, and got a little bit closer to understanding the plight of the black people at that time.
Sure.
And it was one of the greatest memories of my life.
And, well, I guess let's skip to 1960. You recorded a cover of Sonny Boy Williamson's Wake Up Baby.
Yeah.
And that made you the first white artist to have a record played on the local blues station, KNOK.
That's right. That's right.
So that must have been quite an accomplishment right there for you.
It was great, but they only played it once a day, and it was at Blues at Sunrise at 6 o'clock in the morning.
But still, that's just amazing to me.
Well, it was to me. I thought it was all going straight uphill from there. I mean, straight to the winner's circle, you know.
Sure. And you also, well, some of the listeners might not know this, but your harmonica playing was featured on Fort Worth native Bruce Chanel's 1962 #1 smash, Hey Baby, which we played earlier, and I realize now I mentioned that then, and it sounds at some points during the song that Chanel is singing backup vocal to your harmonica playing. It's so prominent. Just fantastic.
Well, it all blended together pretty good. It was an important part of Hey Baby, but it was a great song before I ever put a harmonica on it. But that just that gave it a signature, you know.
It sure did. And so after Hey Baby, he brought you on a tour of England with him, right?
Right. Yeah.
And legend has it that you wound up giving harp lessons or, well, teaching young John Lennon to play the harmonica.
Well, I didn't teach him to play. play. He was already playing some, but the few days that we were, or hours is more like it, that we were around, we spent a lot of time with him asking me how you do that, you know.
Sure.
But that was a short moment in time, and somebody later said in an interview that he was influenced by the harmonica on Hey Baby. So now it's chiseled in stone that I taught him everything he knew, you know.
Now, in England at that time, there were a lot of bands like the Beatles playing that style of music. And did the Beatles stand out at you in any particular manner?
Oh, yeah, they did. Well, I was kind of, you know, this girl that had been following Bruce around gave me the rundown on the Beatles before we met them, that they were the hottest group in the north of England and that everybody was just crazy about them, and they just got back from Hamburg and it was going to be a big show. And it was, you know, and they were fantastic, you know, but there were a lot of great, fantastic rock and roll players around at that time in England.
And so I guess after that, you came back to the United States and you formed the Rondells, and you had a chart single in 1965 with "If You Really Want Me To, I'll Go."
Right, yeah.
And then you spent much of the 60s playing the club circuit in Texas.
I did, yes. A lot of the time playing the club circuit.
And you still play in some of the clubs in Texas today, don't you?
Oh, I do. I love to play. For the smaller the place, the better I like it.
And from there, you went out to Los Angeles, California, where you recorded a couple of albums as Delbert and Glenn with Glenn Clark, who's
right.
also, well, Fort Worth native. And you came back from California, and you ended up landing a solo career, solo contract with ABC
right.
Records. And so what was that to get the ABC recording sound
Well,
contract?
it was good. Glenn and I are still good friends today, but we both just wanted to do different things. He wanted to stay out in California and work out there, and I didn't, and so we split up as a team. And that was my first record deal that I got, just my name.